Welcome back to the farm, everybody. We have made it to the fall of year 4. We are just wrapping up chopping some silage. I'm not sure how much we actually ended up with here. Let me go check. We just did that one little bit on the edge of the field there, and we're going to end up with over 200,000 liters, so that should last us quite a while. I did the math, and I needed between 200 and 240, I think, to kind of split the silage and the hay close to 50-50, so we should be good there. Elliot has already taken off down the road in the chopper because our other alfalfa field is ready. I'm just going to run over here and turn off the 8070 quick because we don't need that right now. And we're going to run down the road and meet up with him, but we're going to use something different to get this hay today, and hopefully this works. I haven't tried this yet. Like I do on most things, I experiment off screen first. So we are going to stop right here and drop the trailer. And we're going to go park the 7050 over here by the pressure washer because we need to be cleaned off. I'm going to turn this off, jump out and go over here and show you something new. We have upgraded the semi from an L8000 to an L9000, and what I did is I took the L8000 into town, and they actually stretched the frame and put a silage bed on the back of it for us. So we're going to jump in this today, and we are going to use this to go collect the hay down the road and bring it back to the farm. But to get the edges of the field, we're going to need the trailer. So we're going to back up here and grab the trailer first. Now we'll head up to the road to the alfalfa field. We'll use the trailer to go around the edges a couple of times and then to give us room to turn around. And then we're going to throw the rest of it in the truck and bring it back. I did actually try this with I did one pass of silage with this truck. But because it has the end dump wasn't recognizing the silage blower, so that experiment failed. So we did lose out on one load of chaff because of that, but we're alright. So I'm going to drop the trailer right here, and we're just going to pull the truck up over here into the neighbor's yard real quick. Jump out. Get this thing hooked up. Maybe, if I can get it lined up. There we go. Oh. Put my pipe out. Turn everything on. Let's see if we can make it around the edge at least once here to give us some room to turn around. Again, if you missed it, go back and watch the last episode, and you'll see how I'm getting my forage harvester to turn this alfalfa straight to hay. I also pinned a video to that and also posted my first tutorial video showing you how I edited the XML files to make this happen. So feel free to go give that a watch if you haven't yet, but we're just going to get this edge right here we're going to get a load of hay done, and then we'll probably skip ahead to October and get the rest of the harvest. Now that we're starting to get well along in this series, I've kind of started trying to get an entire season, so I'm trying to cover 2 or 3 months in every episode, just to keep things moving. So let's see, oh yeah, 18% full. We're going to be able to get a couple of laps here, and that'll give us some room to turn around, and then we can come up with the truck and just drive beside. I don't think I'm going to get this entire field in one trip though, so it's kind of why I got the truck. I can get to and from the yard a little bit faster, and since I'm dumping into the hay silo and not the silage blower, I can actually make it work. So let's see here. We will pick the header up here. We're going to go out here on the road actually and turn around and come back. And give us at least one more pass here. And then that'll give us room to turn around, and then we'll just go parallel with the road to get the rest. I did not pick the stones up out of this field when I bought it. It was already plowed and already had stones in it, but since I knew I was doing alfalfa, I just left them there. It's easy to replace some sickles on the header if I need to, but I'm not going to be doing any deep tillage or anything else where the rocks are going to be doing a lot of damage to equipment, so I just didn't feel like taking the effort to do that. So, and you can only see them after I cut the alfalfa anyway, so we may come back at some time and pick those up, but I'm just going to leave them for now. Yeah, we'll get one pass here along the road. And since the neighbor has already harvested this field here, we'll have plenty of room to turn around. And then we'll jump out and put the truck on the trailer, follow along the side of the forage harvester like we were doing on the corn. Should be able to knock this out fairly quickly. So, just going to take one wide turn here. Oh yeah, like a glove. Smooth. Rocks are pretty big though, aren't they? Wow. Alright, we'll pick up the header. Come back on the road. Drop the trailer right about there. And then what we'll do is we'll turn this seat over to Elliot and we'll go jump into the truck. Right about there, looks pretty good. Let me hit my button to hire a worker. I don't think that worked. It did not. Go. Yeah, I don't think that hired worker thing worked out, so let me jump out. Oop, backed up too far. And pulled forward too far. hitch is really touchy. Let me try this one more time. Yeah, I wasn't quite all the way on the field, so it didn't take there. So let's try this again. There we go. That's what we wanted. Now we'll load up the truck once. And then we'll head back to the farm. Let's see if we can get in here close enough. Kind of. And we're gonna take a little bit of alfalfa out with us, but we'll be alright. It's not the most accurate looking thing, but it's gonna work. So we're gonna get this hay picked up, and we'll probably come back when it's time to start on either the soybeans or corn. I do have to say I might have to find a different truck though, because whoever modded this truck, I think it was Canadian Gamer, it's a nice truck, but the sounds do not match up. It sounded like I was driving down the road there instead of turning around. Alright, we've made it to October and we are getting to work on the corn here. And as always, it looks like I'm off by row, but I'm trying to do a little first person here for a little bit. But we did sell a trailer load of milk and some ketchup at the beginning of the month, so the bank account is creeping up on us again. Both the corn and the soybeans are ready, but I'm getting the corn out first because that needs to go to town so we can start making cornbread. So I'm trying to get that out, at least one truckload of that out first before we do anything else here. I did buy a second platform header, so if I do need to get the M3 out to help get through the harvest on time, we can do that. But while the beans are drying out, we're going to take out some corn here. We're still in the N6, but the model has been updated recently, so I re-downloaded the updates. Got a lot more detailed interior and a lot more crisp paint job on the outside, if you haven't noticed. Well, you haven't noticed in this video because we've been on the inside, but when we get up here to unload, got the truck sitting here on the field. I'm just doing this by myself right now, so I don't need the auger wagon. We're just going to load directly into the truck. I'm just getting this edge right here where we have these two little bits that stick out. We're sitting at 213 bushels per acre, so that looks good down there at the bottom. Let's see if I can get this lined up by myself here. There we go, 4 rows to right there. Drop it down and go. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of truck along here, get some corn out, and then some soybeans. Not a whole lot going on, so I might just go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a time lapse here, just to fill some time, because there's not much to talk about while you're harvesting. Oh, creeping up 216 per acre. Looks like the neighbor's got some wheat or something down here. Hope he doesn't mind us driving on it. Here, let me jump out and let you guys get an outside view of the updates to this M6 and see. Look, I'm off a row again. But that's alright, because that's how the artificial intelligence usually does it. But yeah, a lot crisper paint job on the outside. Just a great looking model. Pleasant View Farms has done a great job on some of these older Chalmers mods, Gleaner mods. If you're looking for some old school stuff, some old school mods, that's one of the pages I got down in my comments that I find some of my stuff from. So loving this Gleaner. We might have to give us a second one. Like I said, we got the M3 to help us, but I might actually look at getting an N7 or even something a little bit newer here before too long, just to help speed things up, because we're going to be, as we start making money, as we keep making money, we've already started making money, but you see how big this field is over here. We're going to end up buying this field from the neighbors and making this field a lot bigger, and then I'm going to need equipment that's going to cover a lot of ground. So we'll probably look into getting another combine so we can take 16 rows of corn at a time, but we'll see. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of time lapse of some corn harvest, and then you'll hear my voice again when it's time to do some soybeans. Alright, we finally got all the harvesting done. I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse, especially the parts where I tried to change the camera angles and then I forgot how to drive. Like trying to look at the combine from the front and not remembering that my controls then were reversed. But we got it done, and now we're in a race against time to get this straw up, because you can see we are late in November already. Why did that not lower my header? There we go. And you guys have known from the previous seasons on here that it snows a lot during the winter, so in order to speed up the process, we ran down to the dealership and bought us a new forage harvester. So we now have a Kloss Jaguar 682. But while we were there, they were talking to us because of our excellent payment history and credit rating and everything we've done for the community. They are starting a leasing program, and they said that we would qualify for it based on our credit report and our financial history. So instead of buying this wagon that we're pulling behind the forage harvester for $65,000, we leased it for a fraction of that price. So we leased it for only $5,000, and then we're only going to have to pay them, you know, a few $100s a month as long as we keep it. We're gonna do that to try to save some money, because what I was looking at, and let me stop here for a second, what I was just looking at is that if I go to our menu here, we got over almost $270,000 now is the value of our soybeans. We have another $47,000 worth of milk and storage, but that's probably going to end up going to butter. We got $75,000 of bread. We have $78,000 of clothes. We have $83,000 in alfalfa hay, but that probably won't get sold off. And if you look down here, we're up to $42,000 in cornbread and $15,000 in ketchup. So what I was actually looking at is, I know I've been talking about wanting to buy this field right here that's running at $600,000, in this field here that's running at $550,000. But if we buy this small field across the road is $91,000. This one's 121, this one's 142, and then down here we're at 297 and 310. So I might look at buying these smaller fields over here, and I can put, probably, since this is already grass, I could turn this one to alfalfa and have our 3 little alfalfa fields now, and then I can put corn or soybeans on these other 3 to kind of help out with that process. So I think that's what we're going to do going forward. But you see how long it took us. We are at 4 p.m. on November, which is playing 1 day months on this series. So we're going to need either a second combine or a bigger combine. Well, with this lease option, we were talking to the dealership. They're getting some newer equipment in now, and they were talking to us about this new technology called GPS, or Global Positioning System. And the way they were explaining it to me is, it's something that you can add to your tractors and harvesters, and it uses satellite location to actually drive the tractor straight for you. So since we qualify for their leasing program, it looks like in the spring they're gonna have some of their first GPS equipment coming in. So there is a good chance that we might actually end up leasing some bigger equipment to be able to farm some bigger fields. So we'll have to stay tuned and see how that goes. But in the meantime, we're gonna keep cutting away at this straw. And the reason I got this trailer is the way the game works is, when you're doing something like this that's in windrows, you cannot hire a worker. So I know Previous videos you've seen me, even on this video, you've seen me hire a worker to cut the alfalfa. Well, that will work, but if the product is already in windrows like it is here, the hire worker won't work. Now I could use Courseplay and set it up, or I could use Follow Me to where I use the Follow Me ad and get the tractor to pull the trailer and follow me. But we're just going to do it this way because with this wagon that we're leasing, it's actually hydraulic. It's actually a hydraulic drive and not a PTO drive. So I was able to tie into the hydraulics on the forage harvester, and I don't actually need the tractor to help me unload, so I'm just going to do it all myself. If I was able to hire a worker, I would drive alongside using our silage truck. But since I can do it this way, and this will always also work too, because if you noticed, when I was cutting the soybeans over there, the alfalfa fields are ready. So that's part of the reason we're so late getting done with the soybeans, is I actually stopped halfway through the soybean field and went and cut that alfalfa while we were still in October, because it dies off in November. So that's part of the reason we're behind. But I had to do the edges of the field to give the hired worker room to turn around before I could go back and forth and follow with the truck. So having this trailer will help out with that. So yeah, so there's one other purchase we made while we were at the dealership, with our eyes on doing some bigger projects in the near future. And you can see it there. We actually traded in our disc and got a bigger Alice Chalmers field cultivator. So that's an 8-meter wide, I forget where that comes out in the conversion, but that's an 8-meter wide cultivator. Doesn't actually fit in our implement shed there though, so we had to park it off to the side, but that's all right. So that was, and so what we're also going to look at doing with the leasing, in the spring, we have slurry coming off of our dairy barn. So we're gonna have to probably either lease or buy a slurry tanker to put the slurry down here. What I'm actually thinking about doing, I'm probably gonna put corn on this big field, just to maximize our profits off of the cornbread, and put soybeans on the smaller field. But then if I buy those other 2 or 3 fields across the road, I'll put soybeans on those too. But since the soybeans don't need nitrogen, I will just put slurry down where I'm going to do the corn, and I should be able to just plant right over the top of the soybean stubble, but I'll use the cultivator over there to break up the corn stalks to put soybeans over there. So that's what we have going forward. I probably won't record anything during the winter months. You guys have seen that plenty of times. All I do during the winter months is drive back and forth to town selling everything off. This year it's going to be straw. There's actually not a whole lot to be sold off. We'll go into town and sell off some of our bread. We'll take in a few loads of straw, and maybe if we're going to buy those additional fields on the outside of on the outskirts of the map over there on the other side of the road, we may end up running some hay to town just for a little extra income, because I was doing the math. By using just hay and silage, if you didn't notice, I did actually put up a newer silo over there too that the truck will dump into. So the 2 silos that are on the left, once they're empty, they're going to go away as well. But using just hay and silage for the feed, that silo that I put up will do haylage now. So I can turn my alfalfa hay into silage with that silo. So I need about, give or take, based on our current head count, around 1,200 yards of hay a year. But I'll be able to get 2 or 3 cuttings of alfalfa off, especially if I get a second field. So I might not need any corn for silage anymore. So we're going to be able to even further maximize our profits there by doing the cornbread. And then we might look at running back into town and buying the corn dryer and the popcorn factory too, as we increase our corn production. And then hopefully that will help us get up to $600,000 faster, so we can buy these other 2 fields up here. But that's where we're at right now. So I'm probably not going to record December, January, and February of me just running around in the snow, selling off stuff. Our normal winter sellathon will probably catch you back up in the spring of year 5, when it's going to be time to start putting some slurry down and get the fields ready for planting. But as always, thank you for watching. Feel free to hit those 4 magic buttons: like, subscribe, and notifications. We are right on the cusp of hitting 200 subscribers. So we get 4 or 5 more people, and we might have another special episode for you coming up in the future. But as always, thank you for watching, and have a good day.